Gauteng Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Elias Mawela has briefed the Community Safety Portfolio Committee on the provincial legislature on a number of issues. And he responded to accusations by community members of Diepsloot that officers were not responsive to high levels of crime in the area. Zikhona Tshona is standing by to give us more detail in terms of what it is we heard from the police commissioner. In fact, Zikhona Tshona, he's now turned it on to the community members, saying they're responsible for the high numbers of undocumented people that they complain about in the community. How so?
Certainly. So the residents of Diepsloot have complained that undocumented persons are committing crime in the area. The commissioner says these undocumented persons are also renting out back rooms at the back of these communities' homes. He also says that when these undocumented persons get arrested, they go to court. They say they're actually in the process of applying for asylum to be in South Africa. Then they get returned back to these communities. Also, community members allowing foreign nationals to rent out their homes, RDP homes, as spaza shop is also a problem here. But let's take a listen to what the commissioner had to say rather about the arrest that they've made, but then these people are returned back to the communities.
This year, April to September, the team managed to arrest 786 undocumented persons. So it clearly shows that we are responsive in terms of dealing with what the community are concerned about. Majority of themselves, community members, are the ones who are harboring these undocumented persons. In one family, you find that they're having a spare room or a backyard room and so forth. Then they rent it out to this undocumented person, forgetting that in terms of the Immigration Act, to aid and abet undocumented person, it remains an offense. But they are doing this thing because majority of them, they are not working, so they derive their income from rental. Other, whom we call them the slumlord, people who are building shacks all over, and they make those shacks available for undocumented persons. They are creating a problem because of undocumented persons. They know that if I don't have an accommodation, I'll go to Diepsloot, I'll find these leaders and ask them, do you have a space for me? They will be granted the space. And something which we must be sharp on it and raise it sharply is that majority of the leaders in Diepsloot are the ones who are contributing these things as the slumlord.
It's interesting that he accuses community leaders specifically who have also come onto the channel, but it is widely known that they took to the streets, going to Pretoria, wanting to hear from the highest office in the land, saying no one is taking cognizance of their issues. So how should we understand this?
Look, there is an admission by the commissioner that there is violence in Diepsloot, that Diepsloot is a violent area. The big crime that they have an issue with is murder. They're struggling to bring that one down. And also, there are a lot of taverns in Diepsloot. Most of the crimes committed in that area are related to alcohol. Just that small area alone has 147 licensed taverns. And a lot of the crimes happen between midnight and the early hours of the morning. So that already tells you it's when people are out in the street, out in these taverns. So what the commissioner is saying is that residents themselves need to take some responsibility and some accountability. Yes, they know that there is a problem when it comes to police responding to crime in Diepsloot, and they have put measures in place and efforts in place to ensure that they work with the community to try and curb these crimes. For example, Diepsloot alone this year has had 29 operations that are similar to Operation Shanyela, where police go out there and raid places that they believe could be harboring crime in that area. So they're saying, we've done the work, and they're saying Diepsloot, in fact, that number of 29 operations in that area is more than any other area in Gauteng. So going into the festive season, they're saying they will be targeting hotspots, but of course they can't give us the details as to how the operations will unfold because criminals are also watching the commissioner speak. But they're saying on their side there is an effort to fight crime, but also an acknowledgement that the level of crime in Diepsloot is far too high. What was good out of the report that came out today is that the police, the cases are going to court, but the conviction rate is still far too low. So the matters where people are arrested, they're going to court, but the conviction rate is still too low. So more work needs to be done there to ensure that police do thorough investigations to ensure that when people are arrested, we do get convictions out of those.
You characterize Diepsloot as a tiny area with over 140 drinking holes that are licensed. For a viewer that has never been to Diepsloot, and you've covered it quite a number of times, describe it for people in terms of the alleyways, what it is that you find on the street, what are the children doing, or what are children doing, what are adults doing. Describe the area for someone who does not know it.
Diepsloot is a highly congested area. The streets are very narrow. Police also saying that also curbs or becomes a hindrance for them when it comes to responding to crime. So police vans can't get to certain areas in Diepsloot. Very interesting that you mentioned children, because they've also cited a problem with children as young as 10 taking knives to school. So there's also gangsterism among young people in Diepsloot. Also, just the service delivery. There's a lot of poverty. A lot of people struggle to make ends meet in Diepsloot. So that's why then they will resort to renting out their back rooms or renting out their RDP houses, because life is just simply too hard. But it's very congested. A lot of informal settlements within that township. So police are saying other departments also need to come on board. The Department of Housing, Department of Human Settlements, to say we need proper structures here so that when police come in to respond to crime, there are roads. We need other services to come and say we don't want water just running freely in the streets of Diepsloot. Let's fix the problems that are there. Let's try and get social development in to go to schools and talk to children about the consequences of committing crime. No matter, even if you are 10, if you commit a crime, it's something that sticks with you for the rest of your life. So it really needs to be a collaborative effort of all departments just to make sure that people there live a normal life, because the way it is right now, it's not normal. Even the level of crimes, the amount of crimes happening there, it's not a space where you want to raise a child. It's not a space where anyone would want to live.
Zikhona Tshona, thank you very much for that update.